Ho, ho, ho! I am spreading holiday cheer today and coming at you with the gift of last-minute tips for the December SAT. Because after all, who doesn't love a few free cheat codes to help you get more points on the test? But before we dive in, I have another gift for you guys. For a limited time, we are giving away our SAT English workbook for free. It is jam-packed with strategies, tips, exercises, and practice questions so that you can dominate the English modules on the SAT. I'm going to link up here to our website. All you need to do is register for our email list and we will send you a copy for free. And if you want to stay on the nice, not the naughty list, make sure you subscribe to my channel below. Go ahead and hit that button and the notification bell because I come out with free content every single week to help you land your SAT goal score. Now, seriously, make sure you hit that button because Santa's watching you. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, that's okay too. Someone's also watching you and you should hit the subscribe button anyways. All right, let's get into these 10 last-minute tips. Tip number 1, start at number 27 on the English modules and work backwards. You may have heard this from me before, but I will preach it until my last breaths on this earth. You want to start at the end of the English modules because the questions at the end are easier. And it's all about gathering as many points as you can in the time limit. So I would recommend jumping all the way to number 27, working on backwards, and then once you hit your first reading passage, which is going to be a logically completes the text, skip 5 reading passages in a row, work all the way down to number 1, and then come back and do the 5 hardest reading passages last. You are re-engineering the modules to work to your advantage in the time limits and time constraints. All right, tip number 2 is to break vocab words down into their parts. Now, sometimes you might not know 2 or 3 of the words given, and that really puts you in a pinch. I know that happened to me when I just took the November test this year, and it was kind of scary. But one great strategy, and this helped me get the question right on my test, is that you can recognize roots, prefixes, suffixes, and then basically make an educated guess as to what the word might mean. So for instance, on my test, there was an IM or an IN in front of the word I ended up picking, and that prefix means not. So I could tell, since the word had a pro in it, that it was a positive word, but then the IM or the IN in front of it negated it and made it negative. So I was able to determine, hey, this is a negative connotation. I needed a negative word in the blank, so I was able to pick that word. Get a handle on your roots, prefixes, and suffixes just to give you a leg up, because a lot of words in the English language are derived from Greek and Latin roots. So in our SAT English workbook, we have an entire section devoted to words and context questions and a really nice comprehensive roots, prefixes, suffixes chart that you can study. All right, guys, make sure you spread the holiday cheer and smash the subscribe button and notification bell below if you haven't yet. I come out with free content every single week because I care about you guys and I want you to get your best SAT score possible. But I really need your support because I am trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. So if you appreciate what I'm doing for you, show me some love and make sure to hit that subscribe button today. All right, my third last minute tip for you is to make sure you go back and redo every single question on Module 1 Math. On Module 1 Math, you have so much extra time, for the most part. You basically can knit a scarf before Module 2 starts. So with Module 1, sometimes the challenge is the math is so much easier that our brains kind of go on autopilot and then we're apt to make more careless mistakes. So if you're gunning for a high math score, like above a 700, I would say plan to redo every single question on Module 1 so that you do them twice so you can catch any mistakes along the way. What I really like to do is solve it one time with DESMOS and then another time by hand. I always try to solve it 2 different ways if ever possible, just to give me the best chance of not making the same mistake twice. All right, tip number 4, know how and when to use regressions and DESMOS. If you don't even know what I mean when I say the word regression, you definitely need to check out my DESMOS video that covers all types of regressions. So I'm going to put that link down in the description below. And at the end of this video, we will also have that video pop up so you can click on it next. Regressions is a game changer, guys, and it makes some of the hardest math questions on Module 2 so much easier, so make sure you know how to do those. All right, if you are finding this video helpful so far, show me some love, hit the like button below. All right, tip number 5 is one of my favorite tips on the list. It is on reading passages, look for 3 wrong answers instead of 1 right answer. We have been conditioned in school to try to find the right answer on a multiple choice question. And although that's all well and good and works out great for most tests, the SAT is a sneaky test where the test designers make really excellent trap answers that sound legit. So if you can approach each answer choice on a reading passage with your detective cap on, asking yourself, what is wrong with this one? What is wrong with this one? Essentially, that critical eye will help you catch little nuances that don't track with the passage. So look for 3 wrong answers and narrow it down, and then you're more apt to pick the right answer. All right, tip number 6. I always have taught my students to continue to pick the same letter all the way down if they're running out of time. That's called Christmas treeing. How funny. It's that time of year. So what I would recommend though on the digital SAT, it's a little bit different. And I have shared this with you guys before, but I think it's worth saying again, especially if you're new to my channel. If you are running out of time and you want to select D because you know you don't have enough time to get to the questions, so you start going D, 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 maybe you have 1 minute left and you've got like 5 questions to go or 6 questions to go. The way that they have this adaptive test designed, it can determine if you are randomly guessing. So if you click too quickly, it will count it wrong even if it's right. I know that sounds crazy, but I ran trials and I have proven this out. I actually ran a trial when they released the test where I picked D for every single answer in both modules. And you would think I would get more than a 200, which is the minimum score, because some answers are bound to be D, right? Well, I ended up with a 200. And the reason why I got the minimum score and they didn't give me any points on those modules was because I was clicking too fast. So if you're running out of time and you have 6, 7 questions to go and you know you don't have enough time to do them, just make sure when you select each answer, count to 10 in between to give a little bit of breathing room so that hopefully the adaptive test won't pick up that you're randomly guessing, and then you could possibly pick up some more points. All right, tip number 7 is to skip any time-consuming questions and save them for last. And by the way, please don't panic. I just took the November test, as I've shared with you guys already, and I made a grave rookie mistake on this test, and it was because I'm a little rusty and out of practice with the time nature of it. Yes, I'm a coach, and I can meet with a student and walk them through how to do a question, but I didn't get a good practice run in before my test, and I'm regretting that now, because what happened to me on Math Module 2 was there were 3 or 4 questions that I got to that I started to do and then I hit a wall. And honestly, I should have recognized when I got to that question initially that it was going to take longer and skip it. For instance, geometry questions by nature take longer, and so I always tell my students to skip those. Well, I didn't follow my own advice, and I ended up getting caught with a low amount of time left. And so I started to kind of panic and jump around like, okay, where can I get points? Should I go to this one? Should I go to this one? Because I had 4 or 5 flagged and I still had 1 question left to do. Needless to say, what I want you guys to do is if you see a big chunky word problem on math and it looks like it's going to take you 2, 3, maybe even 4 minutes to solve, just confidently skip that right away and go gather your points and come back to it later. And listen, if you end up starting a question and then you hit a wall like what happened to me, don't panic. It's part of the process and it's super normal. It happens to all of us. Just maintain your composure, flag it to come back to and move on. And don't let it affect you when you go to the other questions, because this test is half knowledge, half psychology. Like just keeping yourself and your mentality in check at all times is super important. I say to everybody, it's a psychological battle and you just want to make sure that you can, outwit and outlast the test. So just stick with it and flag it and just stay calm. It's okay. All right. Tip number 8 is practice self-care. And by the way, at the beginning of the video, I said there was 10 tips. I'm so sorry, there's 8, but I think they're 8 really good ones. So they're more valuable than some videos that have 10 tips in them, honestly. But here's the thing, your mind and your body, they're connected. So if you're not taking care of yourself, like if you're not eating right, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not exercising and all of those good things, that's going to affect your cognitive performance. Because at the end of the day, you're going into the test to perform at your optimum levels. So set yourself up to be able to do that. Because if you're tired, if you're hungry, if you're out of shape, all of that stuff is going to affect you on the test day, whether you like to admit it or not. If you've been not really doing the greatest job lately with self-care, please don't beat yourself up. I mean, listen, every teenager ends up staying up too late sometimes studying, or they're on their phone too late or whatever, but make some changes now and commit to them up to the test, and it will really make a huge difference the morning that you're taking it. And there you have it. There's your last minute SAT tips survival guide. I want you guys to all remember that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was completely ostracized by his peers before he charged the way and led the way on the sleigh. So if you're starting out and you're weak on the SAT, you can be like Rudolph and succeed and lead the pack. You just have to keep at it. So make sure you guys get some sleep, study hard, and go into the tests on Saturday with confidence. All right, make sure you guys comment below and let me know what your goal score is on this test and what your favorite tip was from this video. Good luck, and I'll see you on the other side of your SAT score report.